I think we are just about ready to get started with Jennica. So I'm Jeremy from the EE Conference Committee. If any of you don't know me, I think I know most of the people here. But wanted to introduce Jennica Pesapane here. She is a longtime colleague of mine, fairly new to the expression engine community, but has a lot of wisdom to share with the conference today. So just wanted to introduce her and have her share about a bit about content marketing.
Great. Thanks so much, Jeremy. And we've still got lots of flowers going strong here in Northern California, which is great because we're still getting rain in Northern California, which is a little bit mind-blowing after all these years of drought. But yeah, it's great to be here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And it's looking like I have this funky thing, which I didn't have with Hopin, where you'll actually see the browser bar. So I apologize for that. Let's see. And you're seeing, I just want to make sure you all are seeing the right thing here. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, are you all seeing the slides?
It's a bit cut off on the left side of it. You might want to make the window a little smaller.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, for some reason it is actually showing I was trying to just show part of the screen and it worked with Hopin, but I'm having some funky things happening. Having some funky things happening with Zoom today. I'm not sure why. Let me just try one more thing. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, all right, we're going to just run with it like this. All right, is everybody seeing that all right? You can let me know in the chat and let me get the chat up here as well so I can see you all. There we go. See the chat. All righty. All right, cool. Okay, well, welcome to everyone. And in case anyone is just joining for this session, I want to give people a few minutes to join. I wanted to just learn more about, oops, sorry about this, we're having more. Wanted to learn more about where everybody's coming from, what type of background you're coming from, so that we can make sure, as we're looking at how content can grow your business and serve your clients, we can make relevant examples and speak to your specific situation. So if in the chat right now, as people are joining, if you want to just mention, do you work for an agency? Are you hoping to use content to grow your business or to serve your clients? So just give people a couple minutes to come in and kind of share where you're coming from. Yeah. It's very quiet here in the chat. We do content strategy. We love the challenge. Yes, I love content strategy too. I've been told I am actually from Indiana, which is, we'll share here as you get to know me. I am a Hoosier in diaspora and a content strategist and storyteller. So I've been told that I come across as Leslie Knope from Parks and Recreation. And my dad actually was the local volunteer parks director when I was growing up. So built a nature trail to serve the community. Great. Oliver, encourage my clients to create content, but they really struggle. Great. This session is for you because, we really want to give you tools to walk away from. We want to tools to walk away with so that you can help with content. Who's your in diaspora? I was an Indiana resident. Fun fact, I do have an identical twin sister who is a professor at Indiana University. And great, agency owner who would love tips to help clients. Great, agency owner, we struggle in content. Okay, great. So glad agency owner as well, and content is big hurdle for clients. Great. So we'll actually walk through an example. I set up a poll in the EEConf Slack channel to ask, do we want to do an example that how to create content for agencies or to help clients serving agencies? We're going to show you with agencies, but I'll make sure to give some relevant examples for helping your clients as well. Okay, love the identical twins. Yes. You can talk in the Slack. We have my LinkedIn and my Gmail. I'm happy to give tips on growing up as a twin. It's pretty great. It's like choose your own adventure. And yeah, she's actually a geologist at Indiana University. So fun fact. Great. Well, it sounds like people are on, so we'll go ahead and get started and just introduce myself. I'm a content strategist and storyteller with about 10 years of experience doing online strategy and also doing high stakes communication for executives. And the really relevant information that I want to present here came because I was actually working with Jeremy, as he said, we're longtime colleagues, to build an online 7-channel content marketing strategy that generated 75,000 plus voluntarily contributed emails for our organization and resulted in 240,000 monthly sessions. So, we had a need for the organization to develop more contacts, more leads. And we started really with nothing. We had a team that didn't have a background in online content strategy, but we worked together to build that. It was really successful. And so Jeremy and I actually worked together to develop this ebook, which is sharing here, a 7-week guide to growing your business with web content that can help anyone walk step by step through the process of building their own online content strategy and implementing it. There's an activation worksheet that comes with it, step-by-step guides at the end of each chapter. It's designed to work through, not just to read through. And what I want to share with you today are insights from that book. We're going to kind of go over essentially the intro and one of the modules. And so I want to give you all a couple of outcomes from this session. I want you to be able to walk away, number one, with understanding the power of using online content in building relationships that generate value for your company or for the companies you serve through an agency setting, right? And number two, I want you to know how to generate ideas for creating effective content. I know several of you mentioned in the chat, you struggle and your clients struggle with creating effective content. And guess what? You don't have to. And at the end of the session, you should actually have a tool to not struggle. Walk away not struggling. I will actually give you a chance to rate me at the end of the session to say, are you walking away able to do this? Because that's the goal. And I want to be transparent if we achieve those goals or not. So yeah, I'm excited. So let's work on the first outcome first, understanding the power of using content to build relationships. So everybody has content on websites. And these days you have to have a website, right? But the key here is making sure that that content actually develops relationships that provide value to your business, leads to new leads, leads to more increased sales, leads to repeat sales, any of those positions of value. So, but the problem often is that websites often default to just being online brochures, right? So you're like, okay, we have content, but we need content that actually works to generate value for our business and isn't just a waste of our time and just we're ticking a box to get content up there. So that's why we need to have content. And I want to show you a little bit about the power of content in in non-brochure content, right? So content that actually works, not just throwing up information like a brochure. I want to show you an example from my life so you kind of get this. So we're going to reverse engineer it a little bit to show you how this works. Okay, so it's story time, right? This is the power of content in my life. So a year and a week and a half ago, not that anyone's counting other than me, I brought this little nugget into the world. I had a little kiddo, and it's great. And it's been a wonderful adventure. But you know what? I have had a ton of questions. And I have had a year and 2 weeks ago, yes. We just had a birthday party. So I've had so many questions, right? I am entering this new stage of life that I need to keep a little human alive and make decisions every 2 seconds. And I've never done this before. So I need help. And where do I go for help? A lot of times I go to the internet to get content that's going to help me in my life, right? So I'm going to do some exercises here. Don't ask Facebook Moms Group. Yes. I'm going to do some exercises here to kind of look at what this looks like with a couple of really important questions that I had and that I took to the internet. The first was a car seat. What content would help me make a decision on the best car seat to find? So in the chat, if you can tell me, like, what am I looking up? What am I accessing online? What type of content to figure out what car seat to purchase? Now, remember, this is super high stakes. This car seat protects my tiny, delicate child's life. This is a high stakes decision, very stressful. Where do I go for help? Right, child car seat safety. So what type of information do I get about child car seat safety? Like, what am I reading? What am I watching? Anyone? Could I be reading reviews? Like parenting, yes, there we go. Parenting reviews, right. How-tos, absolutely. I was watching a lot of like trial videos, like watching, how does this go into the stroller and into the thing? Because it's got to be safe, but I also need to be able to operate it. Expert advice, absolutely. Trusted sources. So I'm reading articles, I'm reading, rankings from important people. Absolutely. I'm watching videos of both reviews and how to do it. Great. Yes. So I'm consuming that content on the internet to find my car seat. Next question, baby sleep. This is so essential in the first year. So stressful. What content am I accessing at 3 a.m, at nap times, as my child is not sleeping in the crib? What am I looking up to help save my sanity? What am I watching? What am I reading? Anyone in the chat? Blogs, whale songs, how to swaddle, absolutely. How-tos, blogs about how to swaddle, Reddit, other parents giving advice. I want to hear people say, I've been through this before. This is the advice I have, right? Am I watching videos of how to swaddle? All these things, right on. I think we have some people here who have also desperately looked for content on these topics. Am I right? Okay, so I'm like out there reading all this stuff. Now the question is, who is producing the stuff that I'm reading? Let's look first at the car seat. Okay, Baby List. Baby List is one. They're other parents. Yeah. Baby List is an online registry tool, but they also have a store, right? So I was looking at them. They actually had a ranking of like the best car seats to buy. Chico is actually a car seat brand, right? So I was watching their videos. I was looking at the CDC. I was looking at like what the government advice is about buying car seats. And I was reading New York Times Wirecutter because I trust them for so many decisions in my life about safety. And, they talk to child safety experts. So all these brands were producing this content that I was hungrily consuming because it was so essential. It was like to save my new baby's life. protect that child. Right. Okay. The next one, who produced the baby sleep content? Pampers, a diaper company, was producing baby sleep content. Legendary Milk, they sell nursing and pumping supplies to moms. Nested Bean is they're like a swaddle company, and they have this whole thing about making the child feel secure with a little weight on their chests. They were giving advice on baby sleep and what to expect, which is actually an app on child development that a lot of people follow, right? So all these brands were building relationships with me through the content that they were producing, and I was hungrily consuming. And guess what? I bought in. I bought a Chico car seat. I have a Wirecutter subscription. Did I list my baby registry on Baby List? Oh, yes, I did. I absolutely did. And then we'll even go back to Pampers, right? Isn't it funny? You have a diaper company writing about infant sleep, but is my nursery stocked with Pampers diapers? Like, I just made another order for, $100 worth of diapers, all Pampers, the other day. What to expect? They're an app. So, but they are, is checking them often, as my kid, meeting these milestones, and they're selling all sorts of ad revenue sales. And I also, spent money with both Legendary Milk and Nested Bean. So all these brands were building, creating content that made me trust them. And as a result, it generated value for their companies. And even the CDC, I was, getting increased confidence in the CDC based on, the regulations that they were doing, making sure these safety things were in place. So, through this example, we can just really see that by generating content, and all that content I was consuming, by the way, was not just brochures about those companies. It wasn't this is what the CDC does. It wasn't here are Pampers' strategic priorities, or even here are all of the new products we're producing, right? It was content that mattered in my life that they were producing. It built a relationship with me, and it resulted in value to the company, right? So any questions as we kind of look at why content that's high value to the consumer really makes a difference, and how it can make a difference? Or are you all believers? Am I doing the Leslie Note pitch where you believe me that this content can make a difference both for your own businesses, as well as those of you who work for agencies, as for your clients? Doug, thank you. Also give Doug a shout out. When we built that 75,000 email generation tool, Doug was a part of that team. So high five to Doug. And he's a great resource as well with this. Thanks. Okay. Absolutely. Great. Sounds good. So it sounds like you guys are believers. This is making sense to you. Great. So let's move forward into the next aspect of this, which are really practical tips for content generation, right? I want to make sure you do this. So great. The content can work, but how do you develop that content? It's not easy, as some of you mentioned, to just throw up content that is not just a brochure. You have all that brochure information available, around usually. You can pop that on a website, but how do you actually develop the content that's going to result in value and sales with your company? Okay. Well, the very key fundamental thing is to center your customer's experience, right? You want to center their felt needs and their urgent questions. And I just want you to think about the Pampers example, right? You have a diaper company that was producing content on infant sleep. Now, infant sleep was a felt need and an urgent question to their core audience. Their core decision-making and purchasing audience. If their, core audience can't, quite give reviews on the comfiness of the diapers they're wearing, but their parents, their parents are. So their parents, felt needs and urgent questions are about sleep. And Pampers figured that out, right? So they're saying what it matters in their life. So you want to figure out what matters in our customers' lives and center that information. So not just putting up your strategic plan unless it directly coincides with what the customer needs. So that's the bedrock of producing content that works. But then as we move into the practical application of it, and I'm going to give you an exercise here, it requires a team. So don't do this alone. A stack of sticky notes and a template to help your whole team generate the content, right? And I'm going to actually walk you through what this exercise could look like. And I'm also seeing from Blair, company blogs are a factor when evaluating if the company's product is legit. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a trust building thing. And that's the beauty of content. Like, it can generate leads, but it can also nurture existing leads to actually have the confidence to buy. And I'm going to share in the Expression Engine EEConf Slack channel. I'm going to send a link to a couple of blogs that can actually help with that question, Blair, as well as a couple after I finish this, right? So let's go into the exercise, right? Content generation exercise with your team, your stack of sticky notes and a template. So I want you, as you think about this exercise, to kind of close your eyes or pause for a minute and imagine walking into a room or a virtual room with a team of people equipped with your sticky notes. You're walking into that room, right? Ideally, there's pizza in the room. You've got the sticky notes. It's fun. And the goal of this exercise is to actually come up with a bunch of ideas for content that'll serve you for months to come. And it'll also produce a lot of unique perspectives because you're coming with your whole team there to serve the customer, right? So it's not just the marketing person's perspective about what the client needs. It's actually a bunch of different people. And that's really important. So you walk into this room, pizza, sticky notes, you're set up to do this. And I also want to say, for those of you who work in single person agencies who don't have a team, don't tune me out now. You can still do this exercise. Perhaps gather a couple of people in your network. If you have a co-working space where you can rely on a couple of people, do this. They can help you. You can help them do this, and also you can actually use ChatGPT as a tool to come up with different ideas from different perspectives. And I'm going to also provide a link to some blogs from someone who's actually in the Expression Engine community about how you can use ChatGPT to help you with some of this. But before we get into the exercise, I don't want you to feel bereft if you don't have a huge team to work with. You can still do this, but it's great to gather other perspectives, right? So you walk into this with all your sticky notes and your pizza and your fun time, with your goal of coming up with a bunch of content ideas that can serve you for months to come. And the first thing you do is ask a customer centering prompt. So here's the example of one that you might bring to your team of an account manager, a writer, and also a web developer, right? Say those are the teams. And this prompt is, what are the questions clients ask you, either directly or indirectly, most frequently, right? That's a customer centering question because it's not about the company, it's about the client. You can tweak these customer centering questions to say something like, what is a question? What is something that your clients have been asking you in the last week or month? If you want something that's really centering on developments in a certain industry. Another prompt could be, What do clients ask? What is it, the topics that they're coming with when they have a deer in the headlight look in their eyes, right? What are the most desperate things they ask you? Because that's centering the client. You're meeting them at the point of need when they have felt needs and urgent questions. So everyone's in this conference room with their sticky notes, and you have the customer centering prompt. Now, you ask everyone not to just share in the group, but to write down everything that they come up with on an individual sticky note, right? And the purpose of this is we don't want groupthink. We want to tease out the individual perspectives first before we, someone suggests something and then other people don't feel comfortable. Those sticky notes will help you tease out everybody's unique perspective. So we're going to actually run through some of the responses to this prompt that might come from that example team from a web marketing agency. So first, the account manager might be writing on her sticky note, how much time does a website redesign take? Clients ask me that all the time. Who should review a web project? How do we ensure this project reflects our brand? How can we ensure that our work achieves our goals and isn't just, another box to tick off, but it's actually making a difference from the company, right? So that's the account manager's perspective. The developer might say, what CMS should we, might hear from clients. Their question is, what CMS should we use for my website? Will my website be accessible for people with disabilities? Can you make my site work like Google? Has anyone here ever gotten that question? Will it be hard to update my website as we have to sustain this on our own, right? So the developer's coming at it from this perspective. The writer might be asked, how can website content reflect our brand language? Can you make written and visual content work together? How much time does it take to write a blog? And how can you track responses to content? So, you can see kind of everybody's coming at it from a slightly different angle. And whether they're directly or indirectly dealing with the client, these slightly different questions trickle down to different people, right? And so then what you do, everybody's written on their sticky notes, you start bringing them together. And what you get is all of these, collated content ideas. And you can start to see that they actually fall into categories, right? Some of these questions are around logistics. Some are around brand, some are around creative, some are about outcomes or technical information, right? So you start to see everyone on your team is kind of serving the client in different ways, but from the client's perspective of what the client wants and helps them, to do well, they need all of this. This all matters to them. So the beauty of a team is, one, you have more content ideas, right? The marketing person isn't going to come up with these all on her own. But you also have a better picture of what matters to the client. So that's great because it centers the customer. And you have a lot more ideas about content. Now, I want to pause here and actually think about, because several of you have said you actually do this for your own clients. So let's just say you're working for a bicycle company or something. You could facilitate this activity with them. And let's say you bring in the person who buys the bicycles, right? They figure out what bikes they want to bring into the shop. Perhaps there's a community engagement person who works with the bicycle shop that's figuring out, they get different groups together to ride together. They plan different runs. Maybe they do charity events or whatever. And then you also might get, someone who actually works in the store doing the selling, on a customer service basis. Do the same exercise with them. Bring them all into a room with pizza. If you're doing it virtually, give everybody a $5 gift card to go get coffee, make them feel like a team and tell them to write, ask us customer centering question, have everybody write on their little sticky notes, bring it together and see for this bicycle company, a lot of people are worried, like thinking about what can I get at different price points? How am I going to use my bike? What are the factors I consider? Whatever it may be, they're the ones who are going to generate it. But you then come up with a bunch of ideas to for that bicycle company to provide content that builds relationships and generates value for their business. So that's how you can run it with a client. So I'm going to pause there and see any questions as we kind of run through this exercise thus far. Do any questions about how this could work in your own experiences or what it would take to implement? Give you all a little bit of time. But just to say, we've done this before. And again, we started, when Jeremy and I started this organization, their need was to generate new leads, both for, it was a nonprofit, to generate leads for their programmatic work. They wanted people to participate and benefit from their programs, but also for fundraising. They needed to continue sustaining that work they did. And we started off with one blog. And we gathered everybody together. We figured out what matters to our audience and got a bunch of ideas and started writing the blog. Then we slowly started expanding that into different niches, but also cross-pollinating it. Oh, I'm glad you like the slide. Cross-pollinating it with, cross-pollinating the blog. So someone who has one specific area of interest might also be interested in something else. And that's how we generated 75,000, more than 75,000 in about 3 years email leads. It started really small. Nobody's time was fully dedicated to that. Yeah, Jeremy, good point. We did not just write out 4 questions each. There was just as many as we could fit in a slide and have you still see it. You do as many as you can make sense. And remember, I am giving this example with one customer centering question. In your session, you might, when you take the time to gather together, come up with more than one customer centering question and do this again and again. And then you're gonna have a ton of sticky notes. You have a huge backlog of ideas. Yeah, so that's good. Yeah, Jeremy's like pizza will help them to see the value and engage and participate. I think you can also provide them with the value proposition of why to do this. You can show them, tell them, the industry says this works. This will generate leads for them, but only if you provide content that centers the client. And in order to provide suggestions that center the client, you need them. You need all of them. And the great thing about this is you can do this in an hour. So if you get 5 people to contribute an hour of your time to get a bunch of relevant content ideas, that is a very finite contribution, right? That's the value proposition. It's a finite contribution. Yeah. And showing them how content generates traffic, Google positioning, traffic, sales, absolutely. You can reach out to Jeremy and myself. We'd be happy to give you case studies to show them why this is important. We'd be happy to share our own case studies about how this actually works and why it matters. The other thing, to say is that, this can really start at a grassroots level, but yeah. Happy to also, I'll be in the EEConf chat. I'm in the Expression Engine Slack channel, so we can talk more about this later. But I think it's really good making sure we have this value proposition in place to the clients to contribute a finite amount of time to something that's going to generate a lot of value. So you have all of these ideas. How can you continue to sustain producing all of this content? And the answer is to have a very simple template to use, right? So you've got all these people in this room generating these ideas, and then you can tell them the content can actually come from you, and it doesn't have to take a lot of time. And it doesn't have to take a lot of time because you take your sticky note, and then based on, whatever you wrote on your sticky note, one of them was, how long does it take to do a website redesign? You just tell them, okay, that's the question the client has. Account manager, describe the question or challenge. provide the broader industry recommendation and solution. Then you describe how you provide a unique solution, so you could say the industry says, this is the average amount of time and this is do this. If you work with our agency, this is what we see if you, take option A, B, or C, if you do this or that, and we can really help you expedite that timeline or something. Describe success in action and remind who you are, which is a person with expertise. So, as you walk out of this room, each of those people can help you contribute the content. And I know this is another value proposition. You have to say, why, how can you get them to use this time? But it's really doable. It's simple. You follow this format, even if you're not a writer, you just answer these questions, and that comes, that provides a very, very good outline for, whether it's a blog or a short form video or something. That piece of content can be generated by these people. Another value proposition you can actually use to get people to do this content is that they elevate themselves in their own industry experience. I was actually I was popping in and out today, hearing a couple of the other presenters, and for those people who want to position themselves in the industry, hey, this is a great way to come out as an authority. So it's good for the company, but it's also good for the individual contributors to be producing content that establishes themselves as an authority in the industry. It's good for a company to be seen highlighting its staff because it shows they're valuing their staff. It's, kind of promoting them onto another level. So, use this content template to help the team do a lot of the work to produce the content, but it becomes very, very doable if you have, a template that provides these prompts so that they can just knock it out. Again, I'm going to come back to the EEConf chat and provide some of these resources, but there's actually someone from the community, Valerie DiCarlo, who has a good blog about how to use ChatGPT to do some of the writing. I don't have time to go into it now, but the highlight reel is ChatGPT can be a really great starting point for first drafts and idea generation. Do not just post what AI writes for you. That can have major implications for the SEO, but it's a good tool. And her blog kind of walks you through how to use it well. So that's another way that, you can cut down on the time that individuals use to, produce this content, but still have it be really meaningful. Yeah. And Oliver, I think you're absolutely right. Make it an event with the client to generate ideas in these sticky notes. It can be bonding. It can honestly be really fun. I mean, again, I'm a Leslie Knope nerd. I think a lot of nerdy things are fun. But I think this is fun, in doing this. Although the people who were in this room generating ideas, Doug, Jeremy, you can speak for yourselves. All right. So that's how you come out of this exercise, right? Getting your whole team, you have a stack of sticky notes, you generate a bunch of ideas to sustain you, and you help everyone produce content that elevates the company and themselves. And that's a practical way that you do it. So the takeaway is content is so powerful. It can build relationships that generate value for your business. It is so worth it to not just have a brochure site. There are significant business outcomes, dollar value outcomes to producing relevant content that matters to your clients, right? For Pampers, not just to, state, okay, our goal is to develop a diaper that does this and this, but to write about infant sleep, producing relevant content. It actually leads to sales for Pampers. I am a case study in that. And to know that you are the key to effective content, your knowledge of your company and your service to clients, whether you are producing a service or producing a good, right? Especially those for agencies, you might be working with clients to produce products. This works with whether it's a service or a product. You are the key to producing effective content. Cool. Okay, so any questions now as we come to the end of this? either about how content provides value, or actually how to carry out this exercise in your own lives and in your own work, to promote your own companies or those of your clients. I know it's afternoon, definitely into the afternoon for those of you on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast, so I still have a little bit of my morning coffee to tide me over. But any questions? How do you answer clients who want to think about viral content? It's a great question. You know, I think you can share with them viral content is great. Viral content can be unpredictable, but the best way to get there and to get those, get those really pieces of viral content is to produce content that centers the client, right? So to say, okay, if you want to produce viral content, following this exercise and doing customer centering content and questions and prompts that will generate that content, that's going to get us a lot closer to the viral content, right? The other thing is content can do a lot of heavy lifting, even when it's not viral and it's just popular, right? And the other thing I will say, and this is, this presentation touches the surface of the step-by-step guide that we have in our book. But actually, the very first thing that we walk people through in our book, in our ebook, is to identify your objectives. What do you want to achieve with content? Because there are so many things you could achieve. You could achieve leads, you could nurture clients. For one company, it might be really, really important to have content to not necessarily to find the leads, but to nurture them. And as someone mentioned before, to get them, once they're there, to know, actually, this person is an authority and I'm going to go ahead and make the purchase. So to do that conversion step, we walk you through how to make those strategic decisions. So that way you're going to be able to put KPIs in place to decide if your content is effective, right? So content is really, really effective, even if it's not what everybody calls viral. And you can put measurements in place to ensure that it's effective and to report back to you and to let you know that you need to change something in order for it to be effective enough to justify your efforts, right? So we actually walk through that more in the ebook. Do you think the tone of the content is important in relation to the brand? Oh, absolutely. But it totally depends on the brand and what's important to your customer, right? I think many, many times, it's important to have, I think people really like being related to as people, and they don't like a lot of boring information. Okay. I'm a big proponent for accessible, engaging information. And check out our book. There's actually a free sample on the website, which we'll share. You can kind of see, we write it as if we're chatting to people. I think that's really important, but it also depends on your brand. If you are like a, like a web security company, safeguarding people's information, or if you're a wealth management company, for example, you're probably not going to want to strike a comical tone. So, but I think all this comes out when you're centering your customer, and the people producing the content who have regular interaction with the clients will know the right tone to strike, right? So I think it's just a kind of question for the group to discuss when you're doing that exercise. What's the tone that's going to be best connect with our clients? I think parents at 3 a.m. trying to figure out baby sleep will appreciate some levity, but wealth management might not be the place to do it. So figure it out for yourself, customize it based on the company. Any other questions? I'm going to move forward. I actually want to give you all a chance to rate me and say how well I did, if we achieved these objectives, or if we didn't, because we need to be transparent if this worked or if it didn't. And if it didn't work for anyone, I'd be happy to connect on the Slack or LinkedIn or something to make sure that even if it doesn't resonate here, it does later. So if you follow that QR code, we actually have a live chat, and I think you're actually going to see right here. Yep, can you all see that screen? So far we have 3 yeses. I'm going to go back to the 4 yeses. Thanks for giving me real-time feedback. Give you one more chance to look at that QR code. If you haven't gotten it already, it's up. Let me know if I achieved the objective and helped you walk away with real tools to move forward. Cool. 7 yeses. Wonderful. I'm really glad. I'm really glad for all of you. Next question is, did we walk away with that you now know how to generate ideas for effective content? Give you a couple minutes for those of you who are providing those responses. I appreciate the feedback and hope this is helpful for you too. Good. Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm really glad. I'm really glad that's working for you all. So great. Good. We have achieved our objectives. Or for those of you who are giving feedback, and I appreciate it. I always want to provide that transparency to make sure that what I said I do. So the next thing I'll say is that, as I mentioned here, this conversation helps you understand the value of content and generating revenue for your business and achieving your business goals, and also providing you a practical exercise to come up with high value content for yourself or your clients. But as I said, Jeremy and I actually wrote a full ebook with a step-by-step 7 weeks of this. And, what I covered today was the intro and part of the ebook, one part of 1 week of the ebook. So if this is something that's of value to you and you really just want someone to walk you through it step by step, check it out. There is a 10% off coupon for attendees of the conference, and it's EEConf 2023. I'll put it in the chat. So that's the discount code. And the other thing is, for those of you who are working with clients and may want to use this as a tool with your clients, talk to us. We're happy to partner with you to see, how can we deliver this to you, if you're working with a team, right? And you can connect with me. My email is jennica.stevens.marketing@gmail.com. Feel free to get in touch via LinkedIn. I'm also on the Expression Engine Slack channel, so you can connect with me there. Some of you know Jeremy. We stay in regular contact, so feel free to reach out with him as well. And we do have an email for the book if you want to reach out there or contact me directly, whatever works. And it doesn't have to be just about the book, but any questions you have. I'm called Leslie Note for a reason. I once provided my team with a color-coded learning library that everybody could contribute to and share ideas about. So I love connecting and sharing ideas and sharing knowledge to help you all achieve your goals. I think it's a really valuable tool. So feel free to get in touch. And any other questions or, about content marketing, about the book or how it could help you, let me know in the chat. Or, just you can unmute yourself and we can chat here as well via voice. Or Jeremy, feel free to chime in.
Yeah, anyone else have any questions or want to pop on video, feel free to jump in. We do have about 10 minutes before Robin will start. So yeah, feel free to chat and yeah.
Yeah. appreciate all your time and hope you can walk away with real tools to accomplish this. And as I said before, I'm going to post in the EEConf Slack channel the link to the ebook with the discount code, as well as some of the blogs I mentioned about ChatGPT and how you can use it effectively. So use it to help you save time, but also not have negative SEO implications. And also post a blog about, again, from someone from the expression engine community, about the content marketing channel, the content marketing funnel, and how that can generate value for your business. So you can really see the different opportunities it has to contribute to the marketing funnel. Yeah. Doug, I'm glad you got your copy. Yeah. Great to meet you all too. Yeah. And happy to chat with anyone about what I've been learning about ChatGPT and experimenting with it. I think it's a really powerful tool, and it's a tool you have to use wisely. Yeah, great. Yeah. So yeah, use it wisely to, I heard once that I was listening to Adam Grant. I don't know if anybody reads his stuff or listens to his podcast, but he just had a really great podcast on ChatGPT, the value of it. And he was very skeptical, but realized that pairing ChatGPT with humans is like a really, really powerful tool. So yeah. Good. Well, it's great to meet all of you. Yeah. And yeah, so I'll stay here if anybody wants to continue chatting. I know there was a lot of chat as I was from the last presentation leading into this one. So questions about content marketing, or just people excited to, talk to like-minded people about Expression Engine, And I appreciate the feedback for everyone. So yeah, I know it takes time to provide that feedback. And if you provided that feedback and walked away with those outcomes, you spent the time listening to the presentation. I'm glad you did. So yeah, and I think we really envision this book. One of the things I like about content marketing is I feel like it's a really winsome and meaningful way to connect people with services that they need. When you focus on content that centers the customer or the client, you're doing them a service, right? And you have something that they need. And it's a great, essentially, bridge to connect the people who are going to benefit from your service or product with you. And it's mutually beneficial. And I feel the same way about this guide. I think Jeremy and I produced this because we saw what a powerful tool it could be for people who really, started without a team that had experience in doing this. And, we learned and we produced it, and we were like, if anybody can do this, if you're a one-person show, you can do this. And the book really focuses on wherever you are at is a great starting place, right? You don't have to be scaled to a team of 5 to do this. You can do this, starting with a team of 1, but a team of 5 can do it really well. And it can scale out from there. So, Oliver, thanks. Have you ever thought about printing hard copy versions of the ebook? We have thought about it. And it is formatted, actually, for those of you who are going on and grabbing the ebook, and we're excited to do that. Make sure you get your 10% off coupon. We want people to benefit from that. Excuse me. And that's EEConf 2023 is the discount code. It's actually formatted so that we can print it if you want, and you can print it at home if you're a hard copy person. If you want to make notes in the margins with a pencil, you can do that. It's not hard copy right now, but Jeremy, I'll let you, We have thought about it. So yeah. And also, let us know if this is something that you want to work with and clients, and you think it could be really valuable to have it in that format, as opposed to a digital ebook, which does work with e-readers. We're happy to explore that with you. We're open to partnerships, so that this information can really get to people who can use it. And this is designed, to be an accessible way to get all this information in one go and have some accountability. It actually has an activation worksheet, and each week has an action checklist, right? So that if you do the checklist every week, you will walk away with, online content designed to grow your business. You will walk away with that, if you follow this book, because it's designed to work through, not just read through. But we do try to be fun and make it fun to read there. So, we encourage you cheersing with a cocktail at the end of a particularly, big set of milestones, or a cup of coffee, or whatever's best for you. So great. All right. Well, it was really great to meet all of you. I'll give everybody some time here and to chat, get ready for the next portion of the conference. So really appreciate all of your time and energy and engaging with this.
Thanks, Jennica.
Thank you.